Hi, welcome to this edition of Garden Guns. Bit of a different one for me. I'm doing a chat on a digital scope. Not something I ever thought I would do. The company that sent me this, Oneleaf, I'm going to be completely open. They contacted me, said they'd subscribed, liked my content, and would I be interested in having a look at their NV400 Eagle digital day-night scope. You know, and I had to say yes. It was too good an opportunity to sort of pass up. Up until this point, I'd been using a PARD 007, which is, for those of you that don't know, is effectively, it's almost like a monocular, but it latches onto the back of a standard scope, a standard optical scope, to give you a night vision capacity. You could kind of use it in the day, but it was pretty rubbish, to be honest. And that was my experience with most of these night scopes. They were great in the evening, you know, great at low light, and great at night with the onboard illuminators for air gunning purposes, but they didn't really stack up too well during the day. So I was really keen to see how this was going to do shooting as a standalone device fitted to my Dreamline, and to see whether it would stack up and be usable during the day and how it performed at night. With complete transparency, Oneleaf did offer me a partnership. They did say that they'd give me an affiliate link that if you clicked on, I would get a certain percentage of the sales. I'm not taking them up on that offer. I want this to be totally honest, and as the guys that have watched this channel know, I'm not in it for the money. It's more the enjoyment I get out of getting to mess around with these bits of equipment, and then making videos that I hope people will enjoy. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I think in the UK there's very little chance to be able to monetize yourself to a sufficient degree to be able to make a career out of making gun videos, and I certainly don't have the editing and the photography background to be able to make that sort of quality of content, which is why my videos were a tiny bit on the gash side, which once again was why I was very pleasantly surprised when Oneleaf approached me. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's start the talk. I'm going to cut to talking about what came in the box, and here is the box. It was well packaged. I'm going to cut to that. There'll be a bit of video with me talking over the top of it, just showing you what you know, opening the box and what came in the box. Unfortunately, it was a really windy day, and my camera blew over and the lens got ripped off it, so it was an absolute disaster. So I couldn't do a full unboxing, but what I will do is go through the list of contents in the box, and then I'm actually going to go straight in and talk about the reticle, and run through bits on that, and then I'm going to come back and we'll carry on the chat. So let's cut to the unboxing bits and the chat about what comes in the box, and the talk about the reticle, and then I'll come back to the rest of it. Right, so hopefully there should be a bit of my unboxing video playing at the moment. The reason I stuck that in is I just wanted you guys to be able to see what the packaging was like, and basically how the unit came in the box. I was impressed with the packaging. It was very well packaged, nice and secure. Yeah, overall, pretty damn good. I was very happy with it. Obviously, it's not luxury packaging, but this isn't really this isn't at that price point. And frankly, I think I'd rather save a few quid on the packaging and have that passed on to reducing the cost of the unit. But anyway, with that being said, let's move on to this. Hopefully you can see my little mouse pointer. It's in the middle of the screen at the moment. Yeah, it's not particularly obvious, but hopefully it's showing up there. So what we've got here on the left is just the general specs, and then over here we're on the right, we've actually got what comes in the box. So you've got your basic units there, you've got 2 eye cups, which are basically the different sizes for use with how you've set up the resolution on your aspect ratio for the viewfinder. Here you've got a spare battery cap, and that's for an 18650 battery as opposed to the 18500 battery that the unit comes with. Having said that, it makes the unit look a little bit kooky with that put on. This is your laser rangefinder. We'll talk about that more later. You get Weaver scope rings with the unit, an IR illuminator, a micro HDMI cable. It weirdly, I don't know if it's just me being a muppet, but it seemed the HDMI actually seemed to be smaller. I thought that was the micro bit. Not being an AV guy, I couldn't actually get it seemed to be too small to plug into my laptop. But anyway, Type C USB cable. This is used for charging the unit and for downloading the pictures from the micro SD card onto your computer. And a micro SD card you do get in the unit. Flip open lens caps, so to allow you to be able to use it in sunlight, starry, and then in full night vision. You also get an extra sunshade. It's functional. It really is just like a 75p piece of plastic. I think I've said that elsewhere in the video. But yeah, it works, but it's not particularly elegant solution. But it is there for use on exceptionally bright days. Allen wrench, lens cloth, and a user manual. And the user manual is one of the other high points of this. It's actually really, really well written. If a little bit light on certain subjects, you know, you could do with a bit more information, but there's quite a lot of information already out on the web in regards to this scope. Right, let's move on and talk about the reticle itself. So, starting on the top, and we'll work anti-clockwise. This is your picture-in-picture. You can actually select that on and off either from the menu options, which I'll show you in a minute, or from the from one of the button by button press on the actual unit itself. Here's your compass. Sorry for the wiggly mouse pointer there, it keeps dropping out. This is your compass. Here is your magnification, your digital magnification set to 1 time, goes up to 12. This is your inclinometer, basically whether you're pointing the rifle down or up. Down here is what you've got your recording set up for. This is your recording time. The red dot indicates the fact that you're recording, and obviously the numbers ticking over. Here is your scope mode. So this is daylight, sun for daylight. Then you get stars for starry night, and then you get a moon, I think if I can remember correctly off the top of my head, a moon for night vision. This is your presets. That's to do with what you've set your ballistic calculator to. You can have 6 presets stored for your ballistic calculator, and also for your 0. So that equates to that. Actually, I think that, yeah, it's probably more likely to equate to your 0. No, all the ballistic profile you've got set up. Yeah, I think it equates to both. Anyway, I've only got the one thing set up because I'm only using it on one air rifle, so I haven't really played around with that too much. This is your display brightness, amount of life on your micro SD card, battery life, and then got to be careful saying this. This is your rifle cant, so whether you've got it tilted to the left or to the right, and that basically shows you if you're canting your rifle. Up here, this little flag shows you whether your laser rangefinder is working. When it's red, it's working. If it's greyed out, it's not. And when it's working, you actually get this little yellow box with an aiming point in the middle. You basically put that on the target that you want to lase, and then when that is, when you've lased it, you basically you'll get a reading. On mine, I've got the box is actually up here, and I get a reading up here for the range. And so when you're lasing, if you've set the ballistic calculator up, you'll also get a aim point generated in your crosshairs, either hold under, hold over, or if you're at 0, it'll give you an aim point on your crosshairs. To fix that crosshairs, i.e. fix the range in, once you've activated the laser rangefinder, you just click your mode button again. That'll switch the rangefinder off and it will secure the aiming point for your your reticle, providing you've done your work setting the ballistic calculator up. Right, next slide. There we go. This is your menu options. So the menu options themselves, to run through the menu, it's basically you just scroll with the mode selector, which is the big dial on the top. You use that to scroll and you push down on the top to select. So, whoops, let's go back. So, reticle types, I think there was 8 reticle types, I can't quite remember. Your reticle types you select there. Shot 0 we'll come on to in a minute. Reticle colors, position, so this is your this is basically how you've set up your different presets. Your ballistic parameters, you actually enter your ballistic parameter in there for the laser rangefinder to generate the aiming point. If you don't use it, if you don't select it, it won't generate an aiming point, I think, when you aim, when you laze. I set it up as soon as I got the scope. As soon as I zeroed, I went straight in and set the ballistic calculator up for the pellets that I was using, and feet per second and all the other good stuff. First focal plane and second focal plane, you get to select how you want your crosshairs to go. I use the first focal plane, although you'll see in video playback the crosshairs are only in second focal plane at that. So you'll see me in some of the videos, you'll see me almost aiming right at the bottom of the crosshairs, and that's purely because the crosshairs aren't increasing in size. Anyway, range marker align, that's to do with the rangefinder, and then you're into your video and photography settings, sound recording, metering, brightness, that's the display brightness, display contrast and saturation. Mag adjustment, this basically allows you to change the increments in which you adjust your magnification. I only have it set on full units because there's lag when you're adjusting it anyway. You'll hear it on the video with the with me spinning. You'll hear the mode selector being spun quite a lot and nothing happening. Red dot. So there's a red dot inside the rangefinder. I don't use that, but you can have a red dot switched on and off. Button backlights, LCD brightness, picture in picture. As I say, you can select that either through the menu or through the button pushes. Then you've got the Starry Night day, basically your mode selector, which you can also do in the menu. Display icons, widgets, compass calibration and gyro calibration. I'm not completely sure I calibrated my gyro right. I do think the rifle's saying I've got a bit of cant when I haven't, although to be honest it seemed to shoot okay if I followed the guidance. Date stamp, date format, clock setting. Totally forgot to set the clock. It was set to default when I recorded the first bit of the night vision bit of the video, so you'll see that. Format and then reset. So let's talk about how you adjust the how you do your zeroing on this. So when you select, oops, let's go back. When you select shot 0, it will take you through to this, and you end up with your initial red reticle. And what they want you to do is put the red reticle onto where your shots are going. And then when you make adjustments, and your first adjustment will be your left and right, your horizontal adjustments, they want you to move the white reticle to where your shots are going, which to me seems a little bit counterintuitive. I'd rather it was the other way. You basically keep your red reticle on where you were aiming and then move your white reticle to where the shots have actually been placed. Having said that, the way I get around that is normally I'll shoot a shot, I'll make one shot to give me an aim point, and then I will put the red reticle on that aim point. Then I will shoot another shot to give me a second hole. I'll put the red reticle on the second hole, and then I move the white reticle to that first hole I was aiming at. And then once you've done all of that, you click on the record photo to enter this menu, and then you select your preset for where you want that 0 to be,
and you basically will hold the record photo button to save on the selected preset. Hope that's clear, probably as clear as mud, but let's finish this bit and let's get on with some shooting. Right, so let's start at the front and end up at the back. At the front, you've got your lens cover, basically closed for shooting during the day, and oh gosh, it's a bit stiff, clicked open for shooting at night. It does come with a sort of a very functional, I'm going to say, adapter that screws on at the front. Oneleaf suggests using that when it's basically really bright or you're getting quite a lot of light from behind you, sunlight from behind you. You've got a focusing ring, handily annotated near and far. That obviously focuses your picture in the screen in the viewfinder at the back. You've got your IR illuminator, once again handily annotated near and far, for basically when you're shooting at short distances, you have it wide open, and when you're trying to get that extra range, you'll focus the beam down and have it at far. On the illuminator, you've got three little lights here. They show you the power level of the illuminator, which is adjusted by the button at the back here, your on-off button, and it also adjusts your illumination power. The illuminator itself via the mount can be set, this position can be adjusted to accurize the beam so that the beam that you're projecting perfectly lines up with the scope. Into your what would be your elevation and windage turrets. On this, the top one covers your 18500 battery, which is a third spare battery. The scope has two, I believe they're 18650 batteries internally in them, and then you can add an extra power unit to give you extra longevity. In the kit, you also get an increased size cap that allows you to fit a third 18650 battery in there. Personally, for the amount of shooting I do and the time that I've been out, I've never needed it. This thing's lasted, lasts a good couple of hours without any problem at all. The other turret cover, this basically is where you have your micro SD and your HDMI, your micro HDMI, and your USB-C port for charging. One of the things I really like about it is how well these are threaded, and the fact that these have got a washer on them to stop any water ingress. So basically USB-C, micro HD, and under that rubber cover is where your flash card sits. So the thing that's really good, hang on, I've just got to try and screw that back on, come on, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's a decent amount of thread on that as well. Then we come into the thing that I truly, we'll talk about later on, is the laser rangefinder. This has got basically a laser. You have got the ability to be able to laser target with it. Having said that, it's not something that I use, but I have been using the laser rangefinder a lot, and it is one of the things that I really like about this rifle. Coming backwards, you've got your on-off switch. This button, this wheel here is basically an integrated scroll wheel and function button, so it allows you to activate your IR illuminator. It is also your menu button, and this adjusts your zoom and also adjusts your menu options as well when you're in the menu function. And then you've got three basic buttons on the top, one which covers your night vision and day modes, which is, I'm wondering if I can get this to focus. There we go, let's have a look. There we go, that's better. So one that covers your night vision and modes, this one covers your recording modes, and this one covers your backlight and the brightness of your LCD screen. Coming back here, you've got your diopter adjustment for those of us with old eyes that don't work quite as well, and then an eye cup at the back to basically give you a really good enclosed weld to the eyepiece to stop any sort of light coming in and glaring out on the screen. Right, that's the gun, that's the scope gone through. Let's get on with some shooting.
Right, so here we go. Day 2. Boy, this has been a long process to get this done. It's a lot easier doing the rifles. Well, yeah, seems to be a lot less involved doing the rifles than this. There's so much to talk about with this. It is, yeah, it's been a long couple of days. Let's try and get this done as quickly as possible then. So forgive me for my shooting, it's not going to be the most accurate. Let's get recording. I'm shooting at 30 yards and then I'm going to shoot at 46. I've got 2 targets down there. This is more about how easy it is to see things through the viewfinder. Hopefully it will replicate it in the video, in the scope cam footage that I'm going to put up to go with this. So we're going to switch to the scope cam footage once I start shooting and talk through it whilst I'm shooting. So let's check this out. Oh, the laser rangefinder's already on. Let's lock that in. Let's dial in. Let's give it, what do you reckon? That's 8, 9, let's go 10. Right, it's 10 times zoom. Start the recording. Oop. There we go. Let's load the rifle first, that would help. Okay, I'm going to fire that first one off because I think it's probably damaged. Let's get on with it. So, center target. So I have adjusted the brightness and the contrast in this to try and make the target stand out a little bit more in the weather. Have I got a bit of cant on that? I have. You see, that looks... So that looks left side down to me. As I said before, I don't really think I've got the gyro set up right on this. I think this is 5. There we go. So that's 5 shots down at 30 yards. Let's wind out. Get the laser on. There we go, 46 yards with the aim point locked in. Let's go back to 10 times zoom and see how that looks. Okay, so there's 10 times zoom. Oh, of course I've got it. Right, I reckon that's about as good as it's going to get. And then one more. Okay. Right, let's see if we can see the... Okay, so there's that spinner. I was shooting that spinner last night and it was pretty hard to pick up through the night vision. I mean, it's not easy to pick up now. So let's see if I can hit it. Oh, no, missed.
There we go. There we go. Let's pick the one on the left. Okay. One more for luck. Oh, how did I miss that? There we go. Weird. Right. Think that'll do. Let's go and grab the targets and see how we've done. Right, so before we talk about the targets, I'm going to cut to the night vision bits and do a bit of talking over that. Yeah, with me watching them and talking about how it went. And then we'll talk about how the shooting went. Back with you in a minute. Right, so here we go. I've got full IR illumination on wide. Let's laze that target. Okay, so that target, i.e. the spinners, are at, it's saying 33 yards. Okay, so that flashing you can see is the laser rangefinder blipping. Let's zoom in. I reckon that'll do it. Let's take the one on the right, the smallest one. Safety off. There we go. Okay, so we can see that we're in at 30. Well, 33. Let's go to the right. Let's laze the target again. Unfortunately, you can't actually see. You can see the laser rangefinder working because you can see the flashing. But you don't get to see exactly what I'm seeing in the reticle. There we go. So let's flash one of the little soldierymen. Take that, lock that in so it gives me an aim point on the reticle. Once again, as you saw, that was around about 46. Hopefully you can see that was, or you'll see in the footage that it's saying 46 yards. I'm actually going to dial the focus. There we go. It would help if I cocked the rifle. Okay, there's some spinners on the side. You can see that one. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can adjust. Yeah, it's struggling a little bit, isn't it? There we go. Let's get it. Okay, no. That's about as good as it's going to get, I think. There we go. Let's do the top spinner there. Not a perfect hit. There's a tiny one at the bottom here. See if I can get that. Perfect. So as you can see, at sort of normal range. I mean, if you were looking at a rat, I think, and you could see its glowing eyes, this wouldn't be a problem. It's struggling a little bit with the spinners. It's just sort of losing resolution somewhat. There we go. Let's do the top one. There we go. Just wonder if there's any way. Let's see if I... Yeah, so if I take the mag down, you can see it alright. See it better, but it's a bit too far for me to be able to see. There we go. You can see the spinner quite well now. See if I can do that small one. There it is. It's been shot so many times it's gone black. There we go. Right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to unload now and oops, wrong way. I'm going to unload. Go on, there we go. And head into the field. Just to show you what sort of range this gets. So that feeder down there is at, well, let's see if we can laser it, shall we? See how good this laser rangefinder is. There's that feeder, there we go. Switch it on. That says it's out of range. I'll be surprised about that. Okay, it's having issues. It's not too bad. Let's switch the laser rangefinder off. Seems to be struggling a little bit with getting out as far as it said it could in the manual. This one's saying it's out of range. Keeps coming up out of range. Don't know whether that's because I've got the beam on. Right, what happens if we go full beam? Oh, sorry. Okay, whoops, so you can see that I haven't quite got the beam set up properly. There we go. So that's what you're getting when you're on full power. So I've got all three LEDs lit up, so it's the full power on the illuminator, and that's what we're getting across the field. So it's not bad. The question would be, you know, I think I'd probably want a better illuminator if I was shooting out 200 yards with a, you know, HMR or a, you know, going out to 250 with a 5.56. But anyway, for air gunning, I think this is more than, moved it again, more than suitable. Right, so that's the night vision done. Let's talk about how the daytime bits went. So, first target, I mean, easily inside a 5p piece. Second target, I'm pretty sure that was 5 shots. Maybe it was only 3. I'm going to have to go through the footage afterwards just for my own interest and find out how many I did actually put in there. But anyway, even if it's 3 shots, they're all under a thumbnail. They'll all be touching a 5p piece, which for 46 yards, you know, is not too bad as far as I'm concerned. You know, for me anyway, I'm certainly 46 yards. I'm starting to stretch my abilities at that point, and especially considering, you know, compared to a regular scope, this isn't this isn't quite as optically clear. You know, when you have a decent scope with decent glass, you get the clarity is awesome. Because this is digital, and even though it's a Sony sensor in the front, it's not the highest end Sony sensor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You do get, you are getting, as you can see in the scope cam footage, it's not as defined as it would be if you were using a standard optical scope. Having said that, it's more than usable. And I think that's where this comes in. This is a device that is a jack of all trades, and I'm going to say it, jack of all trades and a master of none. But let's come on to the price point. So this is currently retailing from the Oneleaf website at $449 US. And you have to buy directly from their website. They are talking about putting an Amazon UK. When I spoke to them, they were talking about getting an Amazon UK store together, but at the moment you have to buy directly from them. That's basically the current exchange rate. That's around about £340 UK. I paid more than 300 quid several years ago now, admittedly, but I paid more than £300 for my Pard used. So this is a brand new scope, a brand new day-night digital scope for, a couple of, 10-20 quid more than I paid for my Pard, basically, and it's new. When you add in the rangefinder, which the rangefinder is awesome, it's accurate. I've compared it with my my Hawk range LRF 900. It's bang on. And then you combine that with the fact that if you can be bothered to do the work and do the research to be able to set up the ballistic calculator properly, you've now got a combined rangefinder with the ability to give you a aiming point inside on your reticle for less than 350 quid. I mean, my mind's blown. That for me alone is amazing. And for the sort of shooting that I'm going to use this scope for, for air gunning, it is more than adequate. All of the issues I've got with this would be more of an issue if I was planning to use it on a full bore, 5.56, 223 or something larger for shooting out, 300, 400 yards. Then this probably, as it is at the moment, configured as it is at the moment, wouldn't be my first choice for, say, for fox hunting. Having said that, if I change the illuminator on it, put a more powerful illuminator on, I would have to get it out into the field and see how it performs. But as this is mainly an air gun channel, and I am looking at this as a replacement personally for me, for my Pard, this more than adequately does the job. In fact, as I say, I'm pretty blown away by what you get and the price you have to pay for it. I'm going to make one more point before I start doing my summing up. The military have only just got the ability to range something and then get a holdover put into their reticle. That's something that's just coming in now on the next generation of squad rifles with the Vortex sight. And here we've got it on our £350 airgun digital day-night scope. Yes, admittedly the Hawk scope, the Vortex scope is very much more expensive, and it's an optical scope, it's not a digital scope. It's a fantastic piece of kit, but it's thousands and thousands of pounds, all configured, and more to the point, I think it's probably military only. It will be available at some point on the civvy market, but as air gunners, do we really need that? No, not when you can pay $350 for something like this. Right, so enough of that, let's stop gushing about it. In case you couldn't tell, I really like it. Pros and cons. Well, pros, obviously, the amount of functions you get, the functionality, ease of menu use, it does its job at night. yeah, those are the pros. Price, and all for an amazing price. Cons, yes, at higher magnification, especially at night, it felt like I was losing some definition. I certainly struggled when I was doing the day bit just now to find the spinners on the right hand side, the ones that are effectively the same colour as the backboard that I'm shooting against. You know, they disappeared. Just at the higher mags, it's just losing a little bit of definition. The best way to describe that is it's the same as your phone. You know, when you're using the digital zoom on your phone, as you go up through the zoom levels and you get to the higher zoom levels, that image just starts to get a little bit fuzzy. And naturally, obviously, the same thing's happening here. Anything else I can think of as a con? Well, obviously that little sunscreen at the front, this thing, it's a little bit Mickey Mouse, but it does its job and it's really simple. And, you know, rather than having to, I don't know, stick an extra 100, 120 quid for, you know, more software development and image updates and all of that stuff, you know, I don't know how much that costs, 75p's worth of plastic screwed onto the front instead, so you don't raise the cost. You know, it works. Yeah, it doesn't look great, but it does its job. Anything else I can say is a con? No. You know, yeah, I'm going to have to get in touch with Oneleaf and see if I can keep it, or how much they want for it. Hopefully they'll just give it to me. I will see. I've noticed on some other videos they're getting an affiliate code, a code that basically means that if you use the code for the channel that you're watching, you can get a discount if you put it in at the checkout. I'll see if I can get one of those from Oneleaf. Oneleaf did offer me a partnership deal with them, so that any sales generated from my videos I could get commission on. I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested in making money. You know, I do these videos for my own enjoyment and because I hope other people will enjoy them. I don't do them to make money. They cost me more money to make than I ever make from anything out of YouTube. So yeah, I'm definitely, yeah, it's not cheap making these mini videos. I mean, the camera equipment alone is thousands. You know, the camera I'm currently shooting on is 600-700 quid plus 100 quid. But yeah, let's not get into that. But you get where I'm going at with this. So I want you to hopefully trust my opinion on this. Anybody that gets one of these, I hope you find it just as good as I have. There are plenty of other videos out there. If you're interested, go and have a look at those videos as well, but definitely put this in your, you know, on your possibilities list. I think it's more than worth a consideration. As I say, I think out of all the things I've come across recently, there's nothing else out there at this price point that gives you as much as this does. All I can say is I've only had it for a couple of months. So far it's been absolutely trouble-free. I've not had a single issue with it. You know, how it's going to stack up over the next year or two, time will only tell. But based on the time I've spent with this comes with a, you know, 2 thumbs up from me. Yeah. And I think on that point I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been totally different. Please let me know how I've done, because you know, this isn't my normal comfort zone. You know, I've talked a bit about scopes and things like that, but you know, I mainly just talk about rifles. This has been a lot of effort to do, so I hope it's been worth it. And I will value your feedback on what I could have done better, or, you know, whether this hit home. That aside, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Not sure when the next video is coming out. I am starting to run out of things to talk about. So and also the weather's not playing ball. This is, yeah, it's due to start raining tomorrow, so I think, you know, my upload schedule up until spring is going to be more than just a little bit sporadic. But nonetheless, I'll try and get something out before Christmas. But just in case I don't, have a great end to your year. We're into October now, so well, November, December. We've only got 2 months left, 2.5 months left. So if I haven't managed to get anything out, have a great end to your year, and I wish you all the best. Stay safe. Cheers.